Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans, welcome to Talking in Ovals. How is everybody doing out there on this Monday, February 16th, 2026, episode number 179? Hi, how are you, sir?
Nothing, man. Another weekend, another like 7,000 world records and American records going on. It's getting crazy. I can't even keep up anymore. I have no idea. There's a million meets. I mean, it's great and all, but it's so hard to find anything and like watch anything and focus on one thing. It's just getting crazy.
I don't focus on anything. I just scroll Instagram and I let FlowTrack tell me what happened, DieStat tell me what happened, Runner Space tell me what happened.
I am
Garden
the
State Track Club tell me about themselves only. We're picking on Garden State. It's okay. I'm joking with you guys.
I'm the nerd who was home watching the New Jersey State sectionals on Saturday by myself on FlowTrack.
There's nothing wrong with that. Being a loser at a certain
Kind of
age
is, though.
is a no. Listen,
Kind of is.
There's
Kind
a
of is.
badge of honor when you get to a certain age. You don't want to be popular and cool. You want to be at home and being a loser because then number one, you don't get in trouble.
I mean,
and number two, you don't have to leave your house. There's value to all of that.
But I've never been popular or cool, so I don't know what that age is.
Hi, you're cool to me. Okay, you're cool to me.
Thank you, sir.
So we appreciate everyone out there that's watching wherever you're watching from, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, or Kick. Make sure you subscribe, you smash the like button, and leave us a comment. Dave bites sometimes, but I promise I'll stop him. I will do my best. But last week we had, there are times where it's hard to hold back kind of fanboying and trying to be professional. But man, Quincy Watts, legend, two-time gold medalist, world record holder, and add to that one of the best coaches in the country.
Current NCAA champion coach.
Current NCAA champion, looking
Quincy
like
Watts.
he is, poised to have that team out there repeating. It was just the wealth of knowledge. We had to have Quincy on again. It's one of those things, and it seems like he's receptive to it. He seemed like he had a good time.
I mean, listen,
it was great.
Came on in the middle of his season at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, Western time. We couldn't have asked for anything more. He was an absolute gem. What a great guy. I mean, thank you, Quincy. It was fantastic.
It was a ton of fun. Coach Watts was great. But how do you follow up a legend
with another legend?
You bring on another legend that's incredibly successful. Let's bring him on. He is the Manalapan men's and women's XC track and field coach, Brian Prendergast. What's going on, Coach?
Gents, thanks for having me on. What's going on?
I mean, it's good. It's been a while since we had you on. I forget what happened.
Well, I have to tell you, the last time I was on, I think I followed an Olympian.
Really?
It was. You can look it up in the archives. I think it was Vicky Huber.
Could have been.
Right?
Listen, we can only bring you on after we have on legendary guests.
Right, exactly. So here we are, back to back. We got two
legends.
Yeah,
you and Quincy.
Yeah, this is the streak ender here. Bring on some schlep. Talk about
the crazy part is when you say you followed an Olympian.
Yeah.
The weird part about the show is I had to think because we've had a good amount of Olympians on this show, and it's weird to think like I grew up.
Talk about two freaking schlubs. The fact that we talk to freaking Olympians is crazy.
Grew up as a kid wanting to be an Olympian and meet one, and now on this show I've gotten the privilege to meet a ton. Like, it's so freaking cool, man.
If you build it, they will come.
Sure.
If you ask enough times and take shots in the dark, some of them are freaking nice enough to say
yes. That's the whole thing, Ask my wife.
That's all of our women, right?
Right.
Yep. Now they're looking around going, man, I should have never said yes. No, I'm kidding.
So they're like, my husband has a man bun on a podcast now. Why did
there you go. When I lean back, you could see it. But listen, I feel like if you have a man bun, you're supposed to have like a 9-pack abs. And I don't have that right now. So I think forcing this is kind of like I need to force that to happen.
I like it.
Or run like Cole Hawker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't run. I could never run like an open 200 as fast as Cole finishes his 200. Like, Jesus. All right. So as we do weekly, we are going to bring in some PRs. So we're going to start off with the man, the myth, and someone who I know he's listening. Coach Figueroa, we are hunting you down. You are coming on the show. I know you've said before that you're coming on the show. But anyway, so Coach Tom Figueroa, Red Hour Track Club, coming back to us with some more PRs. And don't be fooled, there is more than 4 there. Let's see what he has to say. It's been a couple of weeks, the normal midseason lull of PRs. This week, we headed on the road to Saginaw Valley State University. I love saying these names. About 1.5 hours of Ann Arbor and Detroit. And he's giving me references too. So because I said I have no idea where this stuff is.
Doesn't help me.
For the annual distance festival, and left with a wonderful amount of PRs on the day. One more week left in our season before indoor state and nationals, and then onto outdoor track. And I do have to say, I do love that we're seeing so many of these distance festivals. I think that's great. But I also do think we're the sprint festivals. Listen, sprinters make money. Sprinters are your home runners of the sport. Like, I love Cole Hocker. I love our distance guys. But where's some of the sprint festivals? I feel like you get some sprint festivals, you're going
That's
to
the Melrose games and stuff. That they're all geared towards that stuff. Like that's
yeah, but just like straight up, like, hey, come here and just only run a 60, run like 1,200. It's like, I mean, it's BU, but still, it's Valentine's, but still, I get it. All right, I'm just trying to show
you can
some.
come to Ocean Breeze. They run about 80
heat to the 200s.
Yeah, in each red, white, and blue division.
Yep. Last time I was there, they had 3 200s going off on the track at the same time.
Sprinters, I tried. I'm just trying to show some love to my sprinters, okay? I tried sprinters. All right, so let's get to some of these right here. So, young lady 11th grader Abby Luckman in the 800 ran a 2:21.16. A 9th grader Lydia Dwyer in the 800 ran a 2:26.11. Then we're moving on to some gentlemen. Connor Beebe? I want to say Bieber, but that would be mean. Beebe. 11th grader, they're in an 800 and 204.6. Matthew Laporte, a 10th grader, ran the 8 in 202.8. Seth Randall, 11th grader, ran the 8 in 155.95, breaking under 2 there.
Good job, Seth.
7th grader Kevin Hernandez Cruz running a 2:36.80. That's awesome. 8th grader in the 1600, Easton Netzley, ran a 5:09.32. Kevin Hernandez Cruz was not done. 7th grader Dublin ran the 1600 in 5:46.15. And then Easton Netzley coming back in the 2-mile, 8th grader, 11:32.26. And then we have 2 more 1-milers. Jacob Kunze, 12th grader, ran a 5:04.12. And then Sam Cassiano, 9th grader, 4:51.57. So shout out to all of our Red Arrow Track Club PRs over there. But wait, we are not done, because we are pumped. Coach Griff over at my alma mater, Dave's former coaching stomping ground, Manchester Township, sent us some PRs from their sectional meet. Evan Beam, high jump, 6'2" and sectional champ. So that's awesome. Anytime you break 6 foot in the high jump, that's dope. Joe Rowe in the 3200 ran a 10:11.37. Ryan Fasinski, 800, 209.99. Gavin Hanlon in the 16, 4:33.16. Patrick Allen, a freshman, which you better break my record in the freshman mile. Patrick, pressure's on. 1600 ran a 4:38.71, doubled back in the 8, 208.71.
Great.
And Cameron Longsworth, the sole senior here in this list at the 55, ran a 6:72. So awesome job to everyone in the PRs. Patrick, go ask Coach Griff what my freshman record is. And I swear, if you don't break it, we're fighting. And you'll beat me up because you're younger and probably stronger than I am. But still, threatening a minor on the show. I don't think there's any.
How great is Coach Griff? I love him.
The best.
The best.
Honestly,
up, Griff, we got to break that record.
What is the craziest thing about Coach Griff is I have no idea how he ended up in Manchester. Like, I know he did, but it's one of those things. He was over at Jackson, and they were a powerhouse. They were fantastic. They had Monroe Kearns, Chris Carl. You can just go through a lot of the talented guys they had.
I think you and Andrew Dunbar might have been part of the reason he saw you guys winning. It was the guy.
I mean, yeah, me, Andrew Dunbar, Chris Poss in the 32 was fantastic. Yeah. We had depth. We were a good team. We were a good team, but it's just like, and we've had great coaches. Rob Haneke was a fantastic head coach overall. Scheffler and Resch were my 2 distance coaches. Love both of those guys. We've had so many great coaches, but then here comes Griff, who is, a track guy first. Like, it's rare you get track guys first. A lot of times it's football coach comes, knows track, wants his football guys to work out. And there's nothing wrong with that. And they're into it. But when you get a track guy like Griff,
especially a distance guy, because then you can get all the other areas filled in. The hardest one is the distance guy.
And shout out to Griff.
Or girl.
Griff is amazing. We've had him on the show.
Awesome.
We'll force him to come on again. But thank you for the PRs. We appreciate it. Coach Lynch over here, Ocean, saying Manchester always showing out. He's another alum of Manchester. Lynch is amazing, doing some awesome things over there as well. I just, outside of just Leah, everything else that he's been able to do over there,
Sure.
fantastic.
Yep.
So, Coach, we're going to get to you, though. We're going to have some
Alright.
fun. Let's
Cool.
talk some Manalapan. So,
I'm here for this.
just had a big win over the weekend for the team. XC was a freaking dream. Give us some rundown. How's it been so far this year? It seems like everything is like coming together with the master plan. Like, how's it been going?
I mean, my honest answer to that question is I think we could be better in some places, right? I've never
Coach
sat
speak,
in-
man. Yep.
Did you listen to Coach McCafferty when we asked him about basically the same thing at CB when we talked about CBA
I
earlier?
listened and I was like, I feel you, Coach.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, as we're going to talk about, our all of our seasons, our cross country season, I assume, in this podcast, and
Yeah.
I can
Start with
shoot you
XC.
straight. Yeah, I'll shoot you straight and tell you that it was awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We had we knew what we had coming in, and we knew we had the class, and sometimes that's what it takes. You get this crop of kids coming through, and you know how great they can be. And it was my second year with them. My first year was last year. The last time I was on this podcast, I was actually sporting some different laundry. So yeah, my first year last year, we came through, had a good season. We won a sectional. Thought we could be better. Had some individual success. Had to challenge some kids. Just really challenge them. And my question to them all along was, how good can you be? How good can you be? And that was kind of my theme for it. That and developing some toughness and some team, really some team building things like that. But so we had some success, and I thought that last year, and I thought that we would, but I didn't think we took as much of a leap as we could have. And so this year we challenged him a bit, Coach Bob and I. Shout out to Coach Andrews, my homeboy. He's good. Yeah, we'll talk about him hopefully too.
We can have a whole podcast about the Andrews family and just how awesome.
Look, he's a friend. He's a mentor. He's someone who I rely on quite a bit before I even came to Manalapan. So
real quick, Coach, with XC, how much of a motivating factor was it? Not obviously you have CBA out there and they're doing what they do, and we know they're always going to be a threat to win it all, right? But also having Haddonfield, right? They're another public school that is in the mix. Kind of, was that sort of a motivating factor on the outside for them going, hey, listen, it's not like we're just chasing. We're also being chased and competing too. Like, we got to put it together. Was there any of that, or was it all just internal focus?
For us, I mean, for me, it's getting our guys better. We know how good they are. And look, we open up our season every year with our A North Championship, which is CBA, Colts Neck, Marlboro, and
that's what way to open up. What a schedule, man!
I actually tell them this year it was September 9th.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're like a week into school. We don't even have anything going. Like, these kids are like, getting used to eating lunch at 11 o'clock or in the morning, and then having practice later in the day. So we're trying to figure out, sorting out all sorts of things. And here comes CBA and Colts Neck. And we look at it like, all right, guys, we're not racing this one. I hate to break it to you, as much as you'd like to go out there and go full guns. Like, if we usually give them a first, what we want them to go through in the first mile. Yeah. And it's usually still pretty warm in September 9th. And like, look, I know you're chomping at the bit, and I know you want to get after it, and you're all fit because you ran a bunch of miles all summer long. But
everyone feels great first week of September, right?
I usually look at some of these guys and be like, hey, you knucklehead, like, if you go through that first mile in under 5:30, I'm tackling you. Because that's not the plan. So yeah, we always try and run it as a pack in that group. But the funny thing about that, the year before, so not this season, year before, the top 8 finishers at Meet of Champions
were all from there.
We're all from A North. It was the CBA kids, Clay and Jay from Colts Neck, Jay Adamala.
Yeah.
So like, not only were they short conference, not only were they Monmouth County, but they were like little Division A North, which is how we have to open up our season every year. Look, say what you want about CBA. I like having them around. They make us all better.
Yeah,
They make
absolutely.
everybody in the state better. They make everybody, we know what we're getting. We know they're well coached. This year was unique for them, I think, because for the first time they kind of had to. I don't know if you call it rebuild when you go back and you come in third in the country, but
It's
they had
like
a couple pieces to fill in. I thought,
Yeah.
with Coach
We all did.
McCafferty, it
We all
was,
did.
from his perspective, it was challenging the two guys that he thought could, step up and take the lead role, with Knott and things like that. And,
yeah,
now that Joe's gone, and challenging them and knowing they could be who they are. And I
sure,
mean, they responded, obviously. You see Will Luke Knott and things like they responded.
Sure.
yeah.
It was, and he, like he said, go back and listen to Sean in the podcast. Similar to you, he thought that they left a lot of opportunities on the table throughout the season.
Yeah, and that those are good things to have. I mean, that's why we coach, and we're always satisfied. We're always looking for ways to get better, and I think that that's really really important. And they look, they're very 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 good, and Haddonfield too. I mean, they were they were cool because they just like did different things all year. Like they never seemed to field their full lineup, whether it was one reason or another. Who knows? We weren't keeping track of why, but it was kind of unique. And at one point in the season, they I don't look at rankings a whole lot, but they moved us to number 2 and like Haddonfield to like 4. I'm like, who's doing this? Like we
On bulletin board them, please.
we all knew how good they were. Like,
Yeah,
like they good enough to go out and finish ninth in the country. Yeah.
And shout out to Haddonfield for getting Aaron Donahue coming back to coach them. She's an absolute legend there and
absolutely.
Olympian. I mean, what a great hire to bring someone of that stature back to your program.
Was it nice to have another
Aaron Donahue to talk to you about running? Like, how great is that?
It's amazing.
Was it nice to have another public school there though, and not another like private school at least hanging around in that top 3 group? Like, was there any pride in though being like it's another public school sometimes? Because listen, I know when I was younger and running at Manchester, it was all about public schools. Like when we got to short conferences, it was like, all right, as long as we're beating CBA and Mondon, I'm happy. Like, it's like even if I don't win, if it's another public school, and listen, I'm friends with a lot of those CBA and Mondon guys, but it was just a kind of a little bit of a pride thing.
I freaking love public schools, man. I am a product of public schools, and I think it's great when public schools do great things.
Sure.
And that's not a knock at anybody, what they do. I think that, and like I said, it's they're great to have too. Always our focus is, I thought that Colts Neck, had a season that was interesting. They had battled some injuries and at the end they end up as Group 3 champions, which is amazing. And look, I knew that we were going to have our hands full with anybody that came across in our section and group, because Group 4 is pretty gnarly, and we have to make sure that we're ready for what's coming.
Brutal.
yeah, and look, like that's the thing. We knew Cherokee was very, very good. We knew that Cherry Hill was very, very good, and you got Westfield always hanging around doing, Ridge, and but look, when you when you are able to compete with these standards of schools, that it's really a fun time.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, like, you knew going in probably who your top core was, but how important is it to have those next level kids? And when you have someone like a Romano coming in as a freshman, just to kind of keep those top guys kind of on their toes, like how important is that to kind of have that, and for those young guys to learn from the older guys?
So it's a good problem to have. We got some depth. We have we had a team of, I think we had over 40 boys on the team.
Great.
Which is a lot, and they're seasoned. I mean, we had the core coming through, the seniors and juniors. We have very good juniors that were, seem like they've been there, for a while, but they're, just now is only my second year there, but they, very, very good juniors. So, we knew what we had in them. And then we had, We had, I think, 4 freshmen break 5 last year in the mile outdoors,
It's
indoors
always
and
nice.
outdoors. So, we knew that that was happening. We had, we have a good freshman that you mentioned earlier coming in, and we had a few coming in with him. So I think the thing that excites me the most with all those kids is that we were so good up top that it allows us to develop those young kids, and maybe not put them in the high intensity spots. If
Sure.
there have been years where I was running pretty well and coaching cross country teams, and was like, I might be the third or fourth guy on this team right now, and I'm 48.
Right, right.
That's
Yeah.
not the case where we are now. I mean, we just got so many kids that they can, we
Yeah,
can develop them and
Sure.
allow them to do some cool stuff and run them in the freshman
that's what I
heat.
was gonna say. It's so nice to let
Yeah.
those freshmen run against other freshmen and let them
Oh, always.
develop in that slow way. That's something that I always try to do because it's important. One, they get to see where they stack up against someone their own age, and two, it's just great experience without the pressure.
Yeah, yeah, and learning to run from the front of a pack as opposed to being in 100th place in a
Yep.
championship meet. There's something to be said for it. One of the best things that we did all season long. Like, look, man, we won a lot. We won counties. We won, we won sectionals. We won Group 4. It was, we're fourth in meet of champions. But one of the funnest days for me was short conference because we didn't run the top guys. We sat them. And instead of moving the next 7 up to run varsity, we just didn't run anyone in the varsity, and we ran everyone in the JV because they were freshmen and sophomores, and maybe some guys that aren't going to crack their lineup. We didn't necessarily think that we should just move them up to that. And it turns out they have unlimited entries in the what do they call it, the short coaches JV
Yeah,
meet or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
something like that.
JV
So
freshman meet. Yeah,
yeah, so it's like a novice meet. So
sure.
Yep.
they have unlimited entries, and I entered 24
Oh my
kids in
god.
one race.
Hey,
No, listen, this
no,
is the best.
it gets better. It's awesome.
So I was looking at it, and I'm like, all right, so we've got 3 teams of 8 within here. So I went to our rankings. We rank everything. Bob is a mastermind with this. Bob puts everything on the big board. There's spreadsheets and things. So whatever their time is. So I went through and I went 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, and we
Oh
made
my
like a
god.
snake draft
That's awesome.
of this thing. And our big guys weren't running. Right. So I kind of made them or asked them to be kind of coach captains for each of these teams, and they picked teams, and we scored it like a cross country race within the race.
That's really cool.
It was awesome. And
That's
like
really
on a
fun.
couple of occasions, there's like throughout the race, like they knew they were going against each other. They were going against everybody, but they were going against each other just the same. It was like
A
an
little bit of
in-house.
pride there amongst each other. Absolutely.
I called it the iceberg challenge, right? Because Manalapan cross country, like you see the tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water, but you don't see all that stuff underneath, and you don't see the big mass of
You
runners
may
that are
have
there.
just started a fun tradition, though. Even if you
Oh
don't have the older guys, like let them go
man,
do their thing and sure, but let the younger guys go make teams. And I feel like that could be such a fun
Oh, it's
tradition.
it was
so cool.
so competitive and fun and amazing. And on a couple of occasions, you got a kid like looking over his shoulder, out kicking his teammate down the chute, but that teammate was actually on the other team.
Right.
And I think that day we had one kid couldn't run because he was sick, so we had 23 kids run, and it's Ocean County Park, so everyone PRs, but I think we had 21 kids PR that day
That's still
out of
big.
out
That's
of
awesome.
23.
That's so
And
cool.
I
It's
mean,
not motivating.
you
Yep.
don't get a day like that too often. And we partied with it. It took me I had to go home and tally the results. And the next day at practice, we made a big announcement, and we gave out some stupid award that I made up. It was just something I found in my car. Uh,
I mean, that'll pass on though. Like that's the thing. Like have them give it back so you can give it next year to the team that wins. Like that's so
Tradition, man. No, but listen, it's all about motivating, and
bragging rights, baby.
those kids were clearly motivated. So
and having fun. We definitely try to. Our sport's hard enough, right? We can't have some fun with it too. It's going to be a drag.
absolutely
We're looking to have a whole lot of fun with it. So that was a good day.
Awesome.
Obviously we didn't. I think if like on a merge, I think we were fourth or fifth anyway, like
That's
in
pretty
the show
cool.
conference with the JV guys. So that was pretty unique and fun.
You know, it's interesting too because there is something to be said about the frost soft meets. Like, even if you're a good freshman, it's sometimes nice to look around and see that there's other boys there and not men. Like, it is nice. Like, when you're going up, like, they're 18, 17, especially by the time you get to outdoor. And when you're a scraggly 14, 15-year-old, that's a massive difference, right?
Yeah,
Especially for boys. Like, girls, sometimes they develop differently, but boys, there's a big difference when you're 5 foot still and there's someone who's 6'3" and you're standing at the line like, let's have a good race. Like, it's like you might be fast, but there's something to
no
looking
doubt.
around and just seeing
Sure.
other boys and girls, not grown
Experience.
men and women.
My
Like, it's mental.
my son's is a wrestler. I talk to Dave about it all the time, and he's in 6th grade now, and he's wrestling middle school, and he's got to go up against an 8th grader, and like the 6th grade to 8th grade, and like one of the first questions I asked him, I'm like, did he have hair under his armpits? And he's like, yeah, he had hair under his armpits. I'm like, all right, you're gonna probably lose to that guy,
Just
if
tell
he's
him
any
to
good
get
at
ready.
wrestling.
Tell him to get ready for freshman year if he makes freshman varsity at like
Yeah.
120 for that senior that decided to stay down there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just some 18-year-old monster just beating up 14-year-olds. And
Yeah.
they're so freaking fast and strong. And it's
You
like,
get better though, man. You
oh
get
yeah,
better, but
you do.
by
You got to get beat up.
defeat,
Absolutely.
That's absolutely. He's yeah. We learn a lot of lessons from that. I'm fascinated with that. I've been watching more wrestling. I told him, I'm like, you watching all this stuff on Flow Track? I watch a bunch of wrestling now.
Yo, you'll
Wrestling's a
be
great sport.
excited. So once, and this is a aside, everyone goes crazy over March Madness basketball, right?
Yeah.
The better show on ESPN is Madness.
Oh yeah.
The collegiate wrestling championships,
Unbelievable.
so exciting. It is awesome. Every year I make sure I watch, and I am tempted to pay for a Flow Track subscription so I can watch the wrestlebacks, and because
I'll just give you mine.
it's so fun. Don't say that out loud. John Davern's going to charge us. But
Davern ain't charging.
so I want to jump because obviously we had a great XC season, but indoor has also been pretty darn good. And there's definitely a difference when you're focused so much on distance, right? In XC. And now you're coming in and it's full team, right? You got the sprinters ready to go, your throwers and jumpers. Like, they see what you did in XC and they all want some love now, right? So
Yeah.
what has it been like bringing that team now together? And obviously you guys just won the section, so something's going right. So what has the indoor season been like now as it's expanded to the full team?
It's been a lot of fun. Same thing, just keep it rolling. Boys and girls. I coach both, so it's it's been an exciting season. We've had some pretty big events, pretty big meets. We went and run the 4x4, the suburban heat at Melrose, which was awesome. We ran 321 there. Big kick from Crew Brown at the end. He anchored in 47.5.
Wow.
He's having a great season. It's tons of fun. He's just a great kid.
He's definitely eyeballing that individual 400 at Mox, isn't he? With that 47.5 split, that's going to be pretty formidable for
yeah. I mean,
Mox indoor.
400's tough, man.
It is. Oh, believe me. Listen, one slip up in the 400, that puts you in last in the heat. They're fast.
He's the type of kid that's more focused on practice tomorrow than anything else. And that's the way that he's kind of taken it. And he's a hardworking kid. He's a man of few words. We could just talk to him about his plan and or whatever he's doing for practice, and he'll say something like, all right, coach, and that's it. And then he goes out and annihilates things. He's really good. He's taken to the 55 a little bit this year too, which is funny because he not funny, but he's not always comfortable working on the blocks, so he went and ran 6'4" without him at short conference. So it's like
no block 6'4".
Yeah.
He's moving.
He's a good guy to have around. He's a good guy to have anchor your 4x4. Meet came down. We were up at the end of sectionals the other day. We were up 8 going into the 4x4, but the pole vault was still going on. It was like, all right, look, let's just go out and win the 4x4 like we planned on doing. And when we hand the stick off to him at the end of the meet, it's a lot of fun to watch. Sometimes, it's like, you're taking splits and stuff like that. Sometimes you just close the book and just
Yeah,
watch.
just watch. Yep.
Milrose was kind of like that because we get one wristband for that, and Bob gets it, right? The Godfather gets the wristband.
Of course.
So
Well, Bob has to go talk to everybody that he knows there already, so it's like
it's the best, right? So we give,
absolutely.
and I buy a standing room only ticket because that was the only one that we could get. And I'm on like the back by the where the shot put area is, and I'm with a couple of athletes. I'm with Clay's little brother. Blake is with me there, and we're hanging out. His mom was up in some seats. We ran Clay in the 4x4 that day, and so we're watching, and they're going. We're first leg is in, nice 50, beautiful. Kevin Zeba, awesome. Suhan Daya comes up 50, like we're good, like we're rolling here. We're still behind. Some guys are doing some wild stuff. And then we let the 2-miler run our 400 leg, and he throws us a 52. All right, all right,
Hey,
dude.
listen, that's awesome, right? For a
Yeah,
2-miler,
was
like
like,
there you
come
go.
on, let's go here. And then we hand off the crew, and first lap through, he comes past me. I'm by the shot put thing there, and he comes past me, and I was just like, okay, all right. He's catching up. We're still in fourth. This is a 14 heat. So we're in last. And once he came around the next time, I just put my fist up. I was like, this thing is over. And because we saw it the week before, he ran 48.6 in the Scorcher games the week before. Same thing, came off the turn in third, fourth, and ended up running everybody down and winning at the tape. It was like a total replay of that. So pretty cool. I mean, I like that stuff. It's pretty
It's exciting.
fun. Yeah, and I think they can run faster. We'll see a team this week that has run faster, which is a Hackensack. They were in the Ope or whatever the main event 4x4, and I think they ran like 4:18 or something like that. So they're pretty darn good too. Everybody's fast. We got to be fast if we want to compete with these dudes. So but it's a lot of fun. They're hardworking kids. So yeah, the speedsters, the fast kids come in. Our rule on the team is everyone runs 400s. We when it comes down to it in indoor track, there's only the 55. There's hurdles, but there's only the 55. It's not like you got a 1 and a 2 and a 4.
It's so rare
Or
you get a 200. Like that's like a unicorn at meets as a 200.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
rare.
and those are fun to do. We try and do them, when we can, and post some times and things like that. But the reality is, when it comes to sectionals and the big meets, there's only a 55, and we only get 3 entries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everyone wants to be a sprinter, but guess what? Like, are you faster than that guy, and that guy?
Right.
Well,
Nope.
then you're probably not going to crack this lineup. So we're going to need you to run some 400s, and we're going to need you to run, relays and fun, awesome relays that should never be banned by anybody.
Agreed.
Especially if they're not at your own event.
Yeah. No. So, I love the relay. Ask me later about county relays. I'll tell you what we do there too. So we get to so why are we training those kids? And really, our thing with the and this is all Bob is the who knows the thing about training mid-distance runners, I would say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess his beans are okay.
Is that they do longer runs. They do work to be able to run a 400, a 55, and a 4x4 in the same meet. There's an endurance aspect to that. So
Sure.
You know what
embrace
though?
that.
I always hate the adage where it's like, don't make your sprinters go any long. But it's like, for me, you want to have some, because the guys that win are the guys that can hold their top speed, right? That's the guys that
Sure.
win the 1 and the 2, is the ones that, yeah, can you get to it? In the 100, you get to your top speed by 65, 70 meters. Are you going to hold it that last 30, or are you going to fade, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
there is something to, yes, you don't want to lose that fast switch. You want them to lift, you want them to get great starts, but man, you want them to be able to hold it. And your best sprinters, look at Noah Lyles. You're telling me Noah doesn't do any distance runs? Look at the
Yeah.
way he runs a 400. The guy just drops 44 highs. Like, Noah is putting some distance in his training, and it shows, because in the 200, is there anybody stronger than him the last 75?
No.
Maybe Usain Bolt is one of the last guys I've seen stronger than him. he has one of the best 75-meter finishes ever.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Spinners need strength, man.
I think of it more like if we are comparing ourselves and trying to train and emulate Noah Lyles and Usain Bolt and those guys, like that's a mistake because we're working with high school
course.
kids that are still developing,
Yeah.
and they need health, they need fitness, they need strength, they need
Structure.
a whole lot of things. So I think it's kind of like, show me the runner and we'll show you how we can train them.
Agreed.
So and I think that's it's something that's overlooked. And we want those sprinters to train long, and we want to have competitive 4x4s, and we want to be able to combine, take an 800 mile or an 800 meter runner or a miler and bring them into our 4x4 because that's good for them too. Our 4x4 right now was really awesome because on a couple of reasons, but we got Crew on the anchor, and Kevin Ziba is also a 55 400 kid. He's a good 400 meter runner. He runs a 50. And Suhan is more like a 400 800 kid. And then we got Justin Velosin, who's one of our cross country kids. That is, he's run a lot of 800s. He's a miler. He's an 800 runner, but he can come down and run the 400 because he's got some speed and strength. And the one of the things that I love, and this is one of the things that I love about Manalapan High School, but not even to like bring race or anything into it, but Kevin is a Polish kid. He's like goes to Polish school. He's like with Polish family, right? Suhan Dai is an Indian kid. We got Velosin, who's like, I guess, he's also a little bit Polish, but he's standard issue Manalapan gringo. And then Crew is Philippine descent, and he wears these little Philippine arm sleeves.
That's pretty sick.
Cool.
And I'm like, where do you get that? Like, it's so amazing that we got this group of young men that are all different, diverse.
It's one goal, right? It doesn't matter what they look like, who it is. Can you get the job done? Can you get the stick in my hand? That's it.
It's track too, and I think
Yeah.
that's I think it's so cool that we have the opportunity to do that.
Well, I mean, you look at our Olympic teams every year, and basically all of our events, we have everything, right?
Yeah.
You look at Winter Olympics right now, and we have every race, creed, everything, and that's such a representation of just and that's a microcosm over there.
Yeah.
With your 4x4, just what we are.
And our school's like that too, which I really like it. It's a good group. So everybody's different, everybody's the same, and we're just we're all in it for
one
the
goal.
Team. Yep, all in it for the team first, team always. And it's a lot of, I call it party time. That's what I say, party time, and we're having fun with it.
So what are the goals for the rest of the season if you were to kind of put it into words? I know tomorrow's the next day, but where are we looking at? Because obviously indoor, it's coming to a close soon. It's weird how quick it happens. Outdoor is going to get started. So give me what are your goals for indoor, and what are we looking at outdoor?
So yeah, I mean, next step is groups. It's funny because I always kind of frame it like, let's get through sectionals, let's score all of our points as much as we can, let's win that sectional. Everybody moves on to groups. From there, we can make a decision as to whether or not we're setting ourselves up for individual stuff at mocks, or we're, if you push enough kids through, you can kind of just run your events, and if you score in your events, you can potentially win groups. We did it last year with the girls. The girls last year, we had, we won sectionals pretty big. We went through. We had Sadie Honig and Jess Abbott and Olivia Schweibens and Maddie Bachardi and Callie Butash, and we went through and we kind of looked at the scoring halfway through. Actually, one of the boys, Josh Pearl, came to me halfway through the groups last year. He's like, the girls are winning. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, we're winning to me? Like, right now? He goes, yeah, we're up on Eastern. And I'm like, Eastern? Like, yeah. He's like, yeah, Dumas has won 2 events. They've got 20. And, and we've got, I think we had 24 at that point. We were up 24-20. And we had Olivia going in the 32.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like, we can do this, right? We're going to win groups. And Olivia goes out and she comes in, I think, 3rd place. So she gets 6 points. So we're 30. They're at 20. And it's coming down to the 4x4. And we're like, if they come in, we didn't have a 4x4 that we think we would score. And it was like, if they come in second, like we win groups, like this is amazing. And then they hand it off to Natalie Dumas, and then she
ain't getting second.
Oh no, it gets even better. I think the girl on the second leg, the girl that ran their second leg, actually lost her shoe.
Oh,
and I'm like, this is gonna there's no way they're coming back from this. And then they hand it off to Natalie, and
and Natalie does Natalie
annihilates everybody. She can run it backwards and still win. So we tied 30-30. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know if there was a tiebreaker or anything like that. I never really got that far.
Right.
And they announced both of our names. They gave them the trophy. They gave us the sign that says state champions. Eventually, they dropped off a trophy for us, and we all celebrate together. I mean, we did like victory laps with
that's pretty
Eastern,
cool.
and like it was really cool. And the coach from Eastern was awesome. He was like, we actually tied outdoors last year. He's like, so we knew that tying was a potential outcome, and
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to present this to NJSIAA. If there is a tie, you do a 4x2 with the weight group. 2 men, 2 women, weight, throwers, and then you make them do a 4x2. Make them each do 1 lap and do a mixed 4x2 to decide the group.
So I'm going to tell you, if we had throwers throwing that day at groups, we probably would have scored more than 2 girls throwing. But yeah, we didn't have any of there that day. But I guess we could have them on call, like ready.
You'd have crew throwing shot put. Like,
tell me that wouldn't be great. Crew. It's like, all right,
it's a tiebreaker crew. You're throwing the shot,
and you do not even that. You do a mixed one. Like you just do a mixed men and women, and have some boys shot putters, throwers ready, and they had to have scored at some point. You can't just be like, hey, this sprinter is really strong, like you know. And I think that'll be great because then you get them involved.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. It would be awesome. And I guess that's a long way to answer you and saying like potentially we could win groups by we'll see if just by running our individual stuff and seeing what's going on. I know that we got some athletes that want to focus on one event for their big meet at Knox. After that, we'll see what happens with meet or with nationals and stuff like that. We're first things first. We've got some things that we've qualified for individually and as a team in the relays. So we'll make it work. I like the team first stuff. We'd like to get DMR times and things like that. That'll help us later on outdoors.
So going back a little bit to XC. Is it hard to balance when you have someone of like Clay's stature, but your team's also very good? Is that hard to balance? I mean, Clay just seems like he's all team guy first anyway. But like was there ever a time where you're like, I kind of want to let this kid get his shine, but maybe that's at the expense of the team, or was it always just team first all the way?
Yeah, I mean the same thing. He's like CBA makes us all better. Like he makes us all better. He makes them all better. There's certainly a big emphasis for us was to get closer to him with the rest of the team. Like the closer the rest of the team is to doing what he is, we know Clay's going to be up there doing Clay stuff. And the closer that we can all finish to, the front of that race, the better off we're all going to be with it. So we did some things to mess around with it. Clay wasn't going to run Monmouth Counties the week of Monmouth County Championships. So we kind of looked at it and said, he said, well, we can give you a workout while you're at the Homedale Park with the team that day, or you can go out and run a 16:55 5K and get these 4, 5, and 6 guys up with you. Yeah. And he said, I'll do that. And I actually hollered at him because he ran 16:52 instead of 16:55. But that day we won county championships for the first time ever, and we had 5 guys run under 17 at Homedale Park.
That's a big shout out though to a Clay to know like his stature. He's one of the best in state, and to say, you know what, I don't care. Like if it makes us better later on in the season, then let's do it.
And it led, and we said Michael Black and Nick Borzamati, you guys are running at the front of this race, and go make it rain. And they finished second and third, and
that's fantastic.
we had everybody coming in I think everybody finished in the top 9 or something like that. It was a pretty good day. And yeah, it is a testament to him, and it's a testament to the team.
Sure.
To look at it and say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna stay with us today," and like that could rub people the wrong way. And we've done a big, we made a big push to make sure that we are a team, right? And that was really super important to me at least, and one of the things that I've done to try and when coming in to try and make that adjustment with us.
So I was gonna get to that. What has it been like these past 2 years, right? Because obviously, I mean, you get someone we knew who Clay Stevens was very early on, freshman, sophomore year, was incredibly talented, right? And you come in, and obviously you have a kid of his stature, and sometimes doesn't always work, right? He knows what he's doing, he know who he is, who he wants to be, and here comes this coach coming in. Don't tell me what to do, right? That can happen. What was the challenges coming in and trying to build that culture, and how much did having someone like Big Bob going to the team, hey, he's good, like,
Yeah,
did that help kind of smooth a lot of things over there?
yeah, that's everything. Well, first of all, they're not those kids, right? These
Fantastic. No.
this
Yeah.
group is
Yeah, yeah.
they're really really good, mature kids, and even when they do dumb stuff because they're at a
They're
dumb age,
high
it's
school
a
kids,
dumb
they're not
age,
bums.
right? They they're good about it. They're good, honest, hardworking kids. They're
Awesome.
smart. They're good in the classroom. They get it. They're runners through and through. I don't have to bug anyone to be bringing their watches to practice or anything like that. Like they're all dialed in. Like they're all like that. And honestly, I think that one of the things, like you mentioned, was Bob. When I when I was coming here and I was approached to come and coach at Manalapan by the athletic director, I said, have did anyone like where's this come from? Did you talk to Bob? And then I said, she said, no, we just wanted to reach out to you. We knew you were available. We had an opening, and I said, well, I know Bob. I have a relationship with Bob. Bob's, like I said, I've known him a long time. I put a Gone Running in Manasquan when I was coaching there,
Yep.
and we've become very good friends. And I reached, I said, oh, I got to talk to Bob about this. How does this work?
Yeah, you don't want to like
I'm
step
a
on any toes or anything like
well,
that. Yeah, yeah.
look, he's a volunteer assistant, and he knows these kids. He's had them since Gone Running days. He's worked with them since their youth. Like, and I respect the hell out of that. And
Absolutely.
but I'm a particular guy. He's a particular guy. Like, so when our conversation went something like this, like Bob, I was asked to come coach, and obviously I'm jumping at the opportunity to coach Clay and these guys, and I knew Clay. I'd known him because of Gone Running and all the things that we've done with the youth program,
Yep.
and I knew his mother. I knew some of the guys. I knew Justin Velosin pretty well. And I said, Bob, do you think this is a good idea? And he was like, "Are you kidding? I think it's an amazing idea." And I was like, "All right, I'm in." And then Bob is awesome enough to to put me in charge, right? I mean, like we work together. We talk almost every day. Bob's at practice usually twice a week, and that's the extent of it. And you know what? Why would I come in there and try and
Right.
change that?
And
That's not.
real quick with Bob, we talked about it a few times, but talk about a guy. There's some individuals, and we know a lot of them in the state of New Jersey, but in every single state, that they're just so integral to the sport. Bob Andrews comes to mind. Joe Compagni comes to mind. Like, there's
Oh
some guys that are just fabrics and just keep this sport turning, especially on the distance side too. We can really think of that, and it's like, shout out to guys like that don't have to
yeah, right.
continue to do what they're doing.
Right.
Like, they don't have their children are moved on, or they have adult kids, and
They're retired.
they're
Yeah.
retired. They don't have to keep giving back to the sport, but they give it their all. And it's like,
He
shout out to
does
them.
it. He does it for us for free.
Yeah, it's insane.
He does it for
Yeah.
us for free. And I remind the other coaches all the time. I said, if he's taking a paycheck, one of us isn't going to be here. So, like, let's just acknowledge that. And
Be nice to Bob.
right? No, I mean, like be grateful at least.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, and look, if we're going to be a team, and the team at the top, he and I aren't being a team, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where it really came together. Where I'm good at things and he's really good at things, and like, we're both good at different things, and I'm a rah rah guy through and through. I'm party time. Like, let's make the iceberg challenge, and and all this stuff. And he's, training and X's and O's, and really making, a lot of those things work. I'm good at that in certain aspects too. I'd rather hug you than yell at you. That's just how I am. I will be grouchy at times, and I think that Bob and I are both really grouchy at practice sometimes, which I think is awesome to have two grouchy old dudes. I'm no spring chicken anymore, so like, and but look, I think that most great programs have, I think if you got Sean on here and you asked him how much he relies on his assistants and
Sure.
how it works, and
Absolutely.
I think that it's a really, really important part of what we do. We have to. And look, I was bouncing things off of Bob for, prior to even coaching with him, when I was at that other place. They um, I check in with Bob and say, he'd go over workouts and say, hey, try this, and I'd try it, and he'd say, what do you think? And I'd say, try this, and he'd try it, and we kind of.
And then he'd say, just go on 400. You're like, I can't.
That doesn't go all the way around.
Now you can. Now you can.
Now we can. Yeah, that's
400
the other
workouts
thing.
now.
That was a
400
beautiful thing. They have a track at Manalapan. It goes all the way around.
It's nice. It's nice.
We also have like miles and miles of cornfields to run in.
That's
unlimited,
so
like unlimited.
It is gorgeous.
Back in Manchester, we had
Gorgeous out
Sarko,
there.
a man-made sand pit back there that's was made, and that was all. And I would say that's one of the reasons why I think that Manchester runners, like what we lacked sometimes in skill, we were tough as nails because we just ran in sand for miles on miles on miles.
Or on railroad tracks.
So
those tracks were limited, but yeah.
What I'll say about cross country is that we did not lose a single day of practice nor meet to injury in any kind with our top guys.
No,
we did not. No one missed a day of practice. I mean, maybe some illness here and there, but nothing. Like no one had the soft tissue stuff or anything. And I think that was our approach coming through. And we're not. We run miles. I mean, we run a lot. But we have a mile away from us. We have a cornfields, and I actually made a poster, the Children of the Cornfields, and I took the old movie poster. I went on Canva and I made this like whole like thing. It's like the Children of the Cornfields, and we've had kids leave. To go to college. And and say like, boy, we really had it good, with the way, the places that we've are able to run there. And I said, yeah, you're not kidding. We got the rec trail across the street. It's a 5K. It's all cinder. It's
you don't realize a lot when you get to college. A lot of college running is roads. Lot of college running is roads. And I know the IT band is the famous strain of all kids adjusting to college road running, but a lot of high schools do have that. So
roads
I want to ask you, because your program is obviously getting better and better, and you're going there. You and Bob are building a really good thing. Have you ran into any of the challenges of kids wanting to go somewhere else because they're starting to get better and they maybe want to go, or they're doing something else, or things like that? Because I know that's become a hot button topic with clubs, and obviously there's always the public-private clash. So prep schools and things like that. It's massive. So have you run into any of those issues, or are your kids all just dialed into Manalapan?
I think that we've got it pretty good here. I don't think anyone's really looking for much more.
Because you guys build it right from the start. Like it's a community-wide thing. Like kids get involved, and then it's
like at the Gone Running program. We have our practice in the morning, Saturday mornings. We'll be on the track, and then the Gone Running program comes in, and there's like 60 kids running. That's awesome. Right there, and they see our guys, and they see our high fives. It's almost like my son's wrestling program in Brick, right? Like he's in the Brick Memorial Wrestling Room like 3-4 days a week, and like those those guys are like washing the mats. The high school wrestlers are washing the mats for the youngsters to come in, and they kind of see it, and I think that that's the deal. Like I always thought that no matter where you are in the shore conference, and this is something that we kind of talked about, that we want to talk about, no matter where you are in the shore conference, wherever you're zoned to go to your public school, I think that there's a really good chance that you'll get a good coach.
Sure.
someone who can take you to very high levels. That was one of my plans when I was at Manasquan, was to get kids, make it so they at least considered coming to you instead of,
Sure.
Private school.
That's the goal.
And yeah, and we've done a very good job of keeping them in the district at Manalapan, and I think that's super important. And they want to be the next group that comes in. We've got freshmen right now that are very good, for a public school. I think we've got 3 already under 5 minutes. I would say no, 2 in under 5 minutes right now, and then we got sophomores that are doing it routinely. And they're all building off of coming in as seasoned runners from the gun running program. I don't have to teach them drills. I don't have to teach them strides. I don't have to teach them the basics. They know what an easy run is. They know what what on and off means. We don't really use paces or something. We'll just say kind of like 5 minutes on, 2 minutes off, something like that.
Yep.
Real basic stuff.
Yeah.
Or medium. Bob's big one is medium. What's the pace? Medium. Definitely not well done, right? We don't do a whole lot of well done, especially with the young guys. And like I said, we can take them and not hit them over the head with extreme situations right away. They can develop. Boys and girls. We've got so we got some girls that are are really learning how to run properly, putting them in the right heats, finding their way to the front of the pack. Winning your heat is a big theme of ours. Just go win your heat. Go figure it out. We had a girl win we could have put her in the PR list. Amelia Poloniak, she won a heat at sectionals the other day in the 800. It's like she's a freshman. It's really good.
It's great. It's good stuff.
Yeah, she ran at sectionals in cross country too. It was one of our top 7. So, just a good kid, hardworking, we try and we try and just give them enough to where they want to come here and be part of the tradition and part of the stuff that we're building. And we're winning, so that's good. We've won some cross country. We won Group 4 this year. In cross country, we're hoping to win Group 4 in indoor track. If we can, we won Group 4 last year in the girls. We won, sectional with the girls last year. So it's working. Give them a place to come and go be champions. That's pretty cool.
I can attest to the depth of the coaches over at the Shore Conference. We built a podcast.
I know.
Getting coaches in the Shore Conference to come talk to us. Dave, I think you're muted.
What?
Oh no, you're back. I thought you.
That's why I always said, you can end up at Monmouth Regional, you can end up at Rumson, you can end up at Ocean, you can end up with Griff at Manchester, you can end up, you can
almost anywhere. There's such great,
and you can, and even if your choice of publics, you can end up with Sean, or you can end up with Rob at RBC,
absolutely.
and you can, if you want to get better at running, there's a coach around that will help you. Even that Hyatt cat over there in Madison.
I try.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
You know what? On top of that, though, I do know there is obviously a bevy of great public school coaches, but it also takes some pretty good private school coaches to want to get these kids to go to, right? So I do want to give a shout out, Coach McCabe, Coach McCafferty, Carl Torchia. If they weren't good coaches producing as well, then people wouldn't want to go to their private schools either. So,
absolutely.
And also there's a myriad of reasons you want a Catholic
fantastic
and things there's plenty of reasons, but I think also just we're also biased here, but man, the coaches in Jersey are fantastic. We are a hell of a state, and we got Dominique to admit on his podcast Lactic Acid that he would have put us, we were right there as number 3 in terms of states competitiveness. What do you say? Texas, Florida, and then New Jersey?
Yeah.
So I'll take
Who's the dude that was talking trash though? The dude that was talking trash when Paige Shepard was on, she brought him up. Was that guy? Who was that guy?
No, that was
some other guy, yeah. Some other
He was at Melrose. He was standing right next to us, and all my kids started yelling at him about how awesome New Jersey track was. I said, all right, you can go. Right?
I mean, it's Coach T, I think it is.
Yeah, whatever.
Coach T,
guy.
he does. Yeah. He has his own. Listen, he has his own club team, and it's one of those things where I'm pretty sure it's listen, I'll give him a little PR. Slay the Dragons Club. That's his club team, and I mean, listen, if they get results, good for them. But
you can't say that New Jersey.
How do you feel about relays?
Yeah,
I mean, he probably likes relays. But
Monmouth County relays, I put every kid in the relay because
Yeah.
that's the only one. There's unlimited, and every kid runs the
were you
4x2.
forced to?
No,
No.
no. We freaking love it. Look, we have 90 with 90 something kids on the team. Like it's the only place that they can actually run in an event sometimes. So we put them in the 4x2, the 4x4, and the 4x8. Every kid.
Yeah. And then every other coach is like, Manalapan with all these kids. We're going to be here till 12.
But I mean, the combination between the frost
Now, listen,
soft
that's why we
meets
have
plus
those meets.
relays
That's why
are
we
the
have those meets.
opportunities to get your team some experience.
You got to expect to be there.
I was watching one of the replays on Mile Split, and and it's like the Manalapan J team is on the track.
Another representative from the Braves.
Through the alphabet. But
everyone knows that we're going to be there late because that's why we have these meets so that all these kids can run. It's great for all these kids to get this relay experience.
And when we chart everything, and Bob's the wizard with the charts, we get them a 200-meter split, we get them a 400-meter split. I mean, sometimes that's the only thing. If it's an open race, we put the open race in there. But if we get it, we get them all these splits, so then a kid can look and say, "Hey, I'm here, and I can potentially be here. I can jump up, or man, I got some work to do here, and maybe I'm fast, but I need to to get some more endurance." And this is sometimes you find a kid who finds his way on the team and says, "Hey, I'm not a sprinter. I'm an 800 or mid distance runner, and I'm going to go out for cross country next year, and I'm going to probably be a 2-miler. Who knows?"
And this is where I'm going to stir the pot. This is where we miss dual meets, because now those kids don't get those opportunities in dual meets to go and get better every single week. We always complain about our top kids are running too much. Like a bunch of high school kids can't handle running a lot, but this is where we miss dual meets, because that's where you used to develop these young kids and maybe these diamonds in the rough that do eventually become your bigger runners. You're not taking them to a bunch of major invites if they're not, it's not like XC where you have a team like, obviously Coach Prendergast, you have a bigger team, but most XC teams are like 20 kids and you can put them and bring them to most invites and enter them in. Where in track, you're having a massive team, and okay, we're not taking most of you to these invites because we're not going to pay for all that, and we're not. So these dual meets were the opportunities for the rest of your roster to get experience. We only focus on the Clay Stevenses and the Nick Lafredos for my Manchester group, but we forget about the rest of the team. And I know
I would be all for
dual meets are great.
I'd be all for like a JV dual meet series or something like that, where you just get like the younger kids together to run, where you don't have to pay.
But then you coaches will complain about we have to go do JV dual meets.
No, I love that.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I do. The cross country dual meets were too much. I like the division meet.
Cross country, hell no.
I wish it wasn't September 9th, like the first week of school. Maybe we can get a little further into the season before we have it, but that's okay. And it's at Homedale. Like, it's like, man, here you go. Open
up with hell.
Look, it makes you tougher. I think that's the biggest thing is to get the kids that aren't the top kids involved in meets. It's something that I am struggling with. Now we had the sectionals on Friday night. Saturday morning we had time trials at the track, not for the kids that ran the night before, but everyone else.
You got to make them feel involved somehow.
Dude, I went there and I came and there was ice. All the ice, there's snow that had melted, had drifted across the ice. So I was chipping away at it. I actually found a golf club in the shed. I was whacking the ice to clear the track off.
Because that teacher's about to be pissed.
I mean, we're just trying to find a way to clear the. And we had 1,600 and 400 meter time trials.
It's awesome.
And it was the first opportunity that those kids, some of those kids have had to race, in almost a month, which is like their season, and they're kids that we want to develop. So we can do that all the time. I mean, we have a big enough team where we can set up lanes, and we can work on that, and we can do different distances, and we're constantly timing them and getting them to do well with that. And the cost of meets is crazy. Our school doesn't pay for everything. Our parents' club pays for a lot of stuff. Wow. So
that's what one of my favorite meets every year was the JV girls meet at Liberty, because it was free. You just went and you timed your own kids.
Meets every coaches are clerking. It's like you're raking the sand.
It was all for the kids, man. It's all for the kids. And like, they don't charge. They just give us a place to come and have these young kids race against.
Yeah.
each other. It's awesome.
And that, like the bubble in the winter, we try to stay out of there as much as we
I mean,
can.
it's better than nothing now that we
No,
have
it
more
really is.
options with Staten Island
No,
and
listen,
stuff like that. Like, but before
bubbles still have
Ocean
their purpose.
Breeze, before New Balance
Sure.
up there was another option. You know,
Yeah.
New York Armory was
Oh,
a
look,
a blessing at times, but the bubble for what it was for
bubble was. I
great for what it
I'm
was.
I
I
don't mind the bubble.
I tell the kids that I love the bubble. I love the bubble. You
Screw
can
Red
run
Bank.
fast. You can run. I was in there the other day for a wrestling match, and it was like
Hey,
it's
she
a
sent me
hard.
Were you getting flashbacks?
It's hard.
he
It's
sent me
hardwood now.
a pick. He's like, here it is, but
It's
it's still
hardwood now.
lined.
Yeah, it's still lined, but it's hardwood. But no, and like when the bubble came, it was like, wow, we have this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now it's kind of like the Superdome after Katrina. There's just
Well, it's
bodies
like
laying all over the place.
we
and
were
it's like
used to running at
crowded and
Princeton and Jersey
yeah,
City Armory for a little bit because Jersey City Armory came back when I was in high school because
Yeah.
they were gone for a little, and Princeton was what we had. But now it's like, okay, now we have the bubble. It's basically the same as Princeton, but it's close, right?
I
So
think
it
it's a
was,
little. Well, I mean, it's better than Princeton because at least you can wear spikes. Now the 1/8-inch spikes is a little bit obnoxious at times, but
yeah.
it's better than nothing. I mean, listen, the
I just
bubble
don't
for
like.
what it is great.
I think it is too, and I think that the thing is part of coaching is convincing the kids that they can be faster, run faster, right, and talking to them in the way that they say, oh, don't save it for Ocean Breeze. Like, you can run real fast here right now. Like, this is your next opportunity.
If you run a good time at the bubble, imagine what you're gonna run at Ocean Breeze. It's one of those things like go get a PR here because now you're ready to run fast at Ocean Breeze. So
yeah, no doubt about it.
So I want to shift some gears here because Dave, me and you are going to fight.
We ain't fighting.
We're going to fight. But okay, so I want to talk. So we're going to start off with you, Coach Marco Langen. We've talked about him a bunch of times on this show.
Love him.
I think he's fantastic. He is. I've said he's a lacrosse bro. That's just a really good distance runner, and I think he's fantastic. He comes in, he talks a lot of mess, he backs it up. I don't think I've seen somebody dive across the line more than him to get it and want it.
And he gives it his all.
And he gives it his all. So, what's your opinions on Marco?
I want like 20 Marcos on my team.
Hell yeah.
Now, hold on. Should I take my shirt off as I'm doing this interview? No. I love him.
If I looked like Marco, I would.
I love him as a track fan, right? I love him.
Yeah.
I would think of it, maybe it depends on which lens I'm looking at him under.
100%.
If I had a kid on my team that was acting like that, I'd probably have to tell him to tone it down, or as much as I grew up on pro wrestling and like
right, yeah.
like there's that. Like I love, there's Conor McGregor, right?
In the NFL, you could actually celebrate, right? Back then, where you had Dion high stepping and stuff like.
Right. I have 3 boys, right? My 3 sons of mine, and like if one of them was quote, was on the mic like Marco, I'd probably tell him I don't like it, but when Marco does it, I love it. So, I think it depends on what lens I'm looking at. And look, he's outstanding. He can run. He's exciting for the sport. I think that the sport, we're always looking for people to spice it up and be awesome. And I just think I would laugh my ass off when he's talking about Gary's big ass comes running around the thing. Like, in that interview, and he's losing his hearing and he's a mess. And look, I know we'll see him from time to time because he'll run at the reservoir when there's no snow on it. And I've known Tilly O'Connor a long time, and she's teammates with him, and they're always out there running
on the show.
Awesome.
Tilly. Tilly and we go way back with the family. So I look, it depends on which lens I'm looking at, but as a fan of the sport, give me freaking more.
All I know.
So hold on real quick. No,
all of my kids like
we're gonna get to you, Dave. I want to ask this. Okay, let's juxtapose this. What is your opinion on Noah Lyles?
I like it too.
Okay.
Right? I like it too. Because look, he backs it up. Carrie Richardson. I love it. When Conor McGregor was starching dudes in the octagon, I loved it. I thought it was like the greatest thing ever, right? And then I also like, like when just dudes like are quiet and just dominate. I think that's cool too. Like
There's
I'm
room for
not a
both,
this or
right?
that. I like it all. I like it when they're dominant and when they're tough and they don't say much, and that's pretty cool too.
Well, it's a Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice, right? They were both on the same team. Jerry
Yeah.
just did his job. T.O. was boisterous. Okay.
Barry Sanders just
Now,
handing
Dave,
a ball to the. Go ahead.
we're going to get to you
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
because
Uh-huh.
for the longest time on this show,
Yep.
you hated Noah Lyles,
Didn't
and
hate him.
not hate, but you didn't like his antics. You thought it was bad. It looked bad. But and
You know
I'll say
what?
this. I know real quick.
Go ahead.
This is my point. I love them both. I think they're both great. Right? I think Marco's fantastic. I praise Marco. I love Noah. I think what Noah does for the sport and hyping it up and talking mess is great. Why does Noah get all this hate as an multi-time Olympic champion? But then we sit there and we're cool with Marco Langen, and I like Marco a lot.
I'll tell you
Marco
why.
hasn't won an NCAA championship. Marco is not an Olympian yet. Like,
Right.
so now here's the thing. I think these are all things in Marco's future. I think Marco wearing USA, he's bound to do it. I think he's going to will himself to do that, right? He
If
just
anyone
has
will,
that
it's him.
drive. But we look at Marco and we're like, yeah, great. Marco, talk all your mess. He hasn't won an NCAA title, right? But we look at Noah. Noah's an Olympic champion. And he's like, he's corny. It's like, what are we doing here?
You just said it. People don't find him to be authentic. People think it's just shtick. People think it's just shtick. That they think he's pretending. Whereas Marco, you're like, that's just a Jersey boy, Marco Langer. Like he's 100% authentic, and that's why I love him. Plus, I'm from Jersey, 100% biased, and I don't care.
I accept that.
But like, no, it's because I don't think people find Noah to be authentic, and he's corny.
Look,
like with his Dragon Ball, like he's just
Whereas, leave anime alone.
No, whereas like
I'm an anime fan.
Like I don't know, I just find Marco to be authentic. Now, as Marco gets further in this sport, do I think for himself he should tame it down? Well, in terms of sponsors and in terms of things like that, possibly.
Not if he wins.
Should he put on a
shirt? But Nike's run full campaigns on Prefontaine,
right. That's what I said. He's the closest to Prefontaine. I have said that.
He's just Marco. You ready for this? Marco's just profane-tain.
If Jersey Mike's does not give him a multi-million-dollar NIL deal, what are we doing? Jersey Mike should have a freaking sub named after him and have him wear a single with a giant sub on it. Is that what he's just? Jersey Mike should be doing that. The Shore store over at Seaside should sponsor him. Like he should.
Sub number 6 is like the Marco. The Marco. No, but here's the thing. Like
the owner of Jersey Mike's is a longtime runner. His brother John is a great track coach.
See, that's what you get.
What are we doing here? Hold on. Do you know him? Can we get? Let's go.
I don't think we'll let DeFilippis handle that one. Go get the money. Go get that money, Marco.
No, but again, like I feel people find him to be authentic. Now, do I think he might have to tone it down? Possibly. Do I think he cares? At this age and at where he is now, no, I don't think he cares. And I find it refreshing. And like he's calling guys out. He don't care. He's like, what? They don't want that sweat or whatever. No, smoke. Yeah, you know the smoke. Shirt off, man. I was like, hell yeah.
So here's the thing: if Marco locks in an NCAA championship, keeps winning, goes on to the pro scene, and becomes one of the guys in the mix with Cole, with Yared, with all them, with Grant. He can keep talking, right? Because he'll be walking the walk, talking the talk. He'll be mixing it up internationally. And, if he keeps doing that and his talent keeps on going, it's a matter of time before we see him really mixing it up. He can keep talking then.
But I also like, too, because like Noah makes excuses sometimes. Like, oh, I was sick at the Olympics. Marco's like, I lost and I'm pissed and I'm going to get him back next time. Like he wears every emotion, positive or negative, on his sleeve. It doesn't seem fake. It all seems like, and like it's I feel like Noah sometimes it's pre-rehearsed almost in his mind.
It could be.
Marco's just answering a question as it comes out with whatever he feels at that time, and I love it.
So yeah, I just want to listen. We're big fans of Marco.
As a coach, if they were on my team, I'd be diving in front of the microphone to take 100%. It away from them. But
I don't know how Marcus feels about it, Marcus Sullivan. But listen,
how many times,
as a Jersey guy, I love it.
How many times can you threaten to suspend your best runner? All right, like that's the thing. Like, how many times are you sitting there and gonna go,
none, because
Marco, you can't do this, and then he's like, Coach, I'm not gonna stop. What are you gonna do as a coach?
Listen, it's also 2026, man. Like it's not 1992 anymore. It's not 1985. It's not even it's not even 2005. Like
The
this is
stuffy
what
old,
it
the
is now.
stuffy old
Yeah, like
running
you're on
fan
social
mostly
media,
does
man.
not
Listen,
like Marco.
I will tell you one thing. He is by far the favorite athlete of the kids on my team. They all know who he is, right?
He's
They
amazing.
don't even know. Some of them might not even know who Yared is, but they know who Marco is because of who he is and how he presents himself. And he's smart, man. Listen, he knows what he's doing, I think, or he just doesn't care. Either way, I love it.
When's he coming on?
I don't know.
We love it.
Get him.
We love it, Marco.
Look
The
at-
invite is
at
always
Marco.
open, and I hope you watch this, and I hope you go, Alex, you're an asshole, and I don't like you because you called me out for not. Now you know what I'll say?
Say Hyatt.
Yes.
Hyatt, big ass is coming.
Well, Hyatt's just a fanboy because he's a Jersey dude that talks like Noah Lyles.
And he's really fast.
And he's really fast. Hey, listen, we're both fans, but I just wanted to get on Dave for a wee tad of hypocrisy. But
I had
brought
an
up some
answer.
good points.
I had an answer.
I gave him all day to think about it. So
Yeah, and it took all day because I'm slow. So
so overall, the indoor season has also been a lot of fun. We have seen some great things. Obviously, Cole setting the new American record with the friggin' 345, just flying around the track.
You had the world record, the 400, right, or an American record?
American record. No, world record. I think it was world record if ratified. I don't think it was ratified yet.
You got Page running 202. You got Blair running 944. It's
Sam Ruth following up his 348 with the 352. So what are your impressions, Coach? Have you been paying attention to anything else besides high school and your scene in terms of track?
To me, bandwidth,
middle school wrestling.
Yeah,
you've been paying attention to wrestling.
Ocean County champion Brian Prendergast.
There we go, baby.
As a sixth grader.
As a sixth grader. No, so I thought that it was interesting to see Bowl run the 800. That was good. I think that what you go with the pacer on that, maybe loosen that up a little bit and just run.
She
a little
won.
Bit
I mean, her
even.
Third lap because I watched it live was like 32, and
there's going to be a showdown with her and Hodgkinson in the 600. I think in a few weeks. I think it's locked in France, a meet in France, which I'm excited to see. You know, Akili just ran a 156 to open up her season.
Yeah. You know, I think that's pretty interesting. I was at Milrose. That's why I watched all that. I thought that was, a
great meet.
How's that seen live? How's that? Because I mean, it looks great.
You got to remember, man, my introduction to running was Eamon Coughlin breaking 350 in the Brendan Byrne Arena in 1982 or 3.
That's so cool,
right? Like. That was like my introduction to running. It was the Vitalis games. It was like the week before or after the Milrose games. They went to New York and then they did New Jersey. They had 2 indoor meets.
Yeah.
And he ran 349. And I went to St. Denis and Manasquan the next Monday and wanted to tell all my friends about this most amazing sports thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was not yet 8, I don't think. And they were like, "What are you talking about, man? Star Wars." But
I mean, they're not wrong. Star Wars is
but so like, I know. And like, I went to Milrose every year. Like, I went to Milrose in the Garden every year when I was a kid. Coming up. So what's it like now? It's pretty. It's exciting. I think it's a different type of excitement.
Right now, Alex wants it back at the Garden.
Absolutely, they should bring it back there, and
but I said pros won't go if it's on a 160-meter track anymore.
So you know what they need to do is they need to convert. I heard this spoken about or talked about is convert the Brendan Byrne, the Continental Airlines Arena into a track only facility.
Because what is it doing now?
Yeah, nothing. It's just sitting there rotten. And
we
need one bad in New Jersey.
That would be awesome.
We need one bad in New Jersey.
Yes, we do.
You can just use the lower seating, like if anything, or expand it so that way you got up and down. And you.
I don't know with the Milrose games. I think they'd pack a lot of it because the Milrose games they used to fill MSG. And I think you can get a good portion of that.
You would have a great crowd for the Meet of Champions too. Like
they tried some like cheesy shit with the Melrose games though, where they were bringing in a band and they were bringing in some live announcing like hype men like they do at New Balance, for the high school nationals, and that kind of lost its luster because you'd also have, the officials from Milrose New York AC with their tuxedos on in the infield, and it was a crazy mix.
And when it's
But
going on for 6 hours, that's a little different than when it's just like a regular event, right?
yeah,
Like it
but
loses it a little
it
bit.
was a huge event. I mean, I
Sure.
remember
Yeah.
having to go to Ticketmaster and like the
Oh yeah.
Sears to get tickets, like with
So
my
good.
family.
Yes.
They had a
The
Sears
Sears
ticket.
Ticketmaster. I
Yeah,
remember
I
that.
know.
Ocean County Mall had one.
Yeah, we had. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm serious. Like,
There was no app. You had to go to
or
Sears.
like we would get them through Shore AC,
Yeah.
in the and you'd go and Harry Nolan would be running the Masters
The guy's
mile
the guy's the best.
against Frank Shorter and Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Like,
Insane.
and Harry was like our guy, so it was like,
Yeah.
let's go beat his ass. And Harry would win. Harry would beat Frank Shorter, in the Masters mile. So that was like always really cool. Like Big Bob will tell you about his, he ran Melrose every year.
Sure.
He would run a relay there at least. I watched Robbie win the mile there as a high schooler.
Robbie
I
was so excited.
in the garden. That was awesome. Yeah, I think it would be cool. One of my favorite things to do when I was at Melrose and when I was 10, 11 years old was to watch the Sergei Bubka do the pole vault.
Hell yeah.
Was jumping, 19, 20 feet indoors. So it was really cool. And you'd get Carl Lewis in the long jump.
Yeah.
You get Carl Lewis in the 60.
You get Carol Lewis probably in the long jump too.
You get Herschel Walker in the 60.
Yes.
In the Georgia uniform. Like
it was a must-go event. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It was a who's who, and you know what? It was nice.
And you had those, and you also, you're right, you would have those like guest sprinters. Like I remember one time, like a Rocket Ismail ran, things like that.
I mean, I saw Lee McRae run. I saw Evelyn Ashford run. I saw Valerie Briscoe Hooks run. I saw.
I feel like this year they had a little bit of that back. They did have a little bit of the star power in the more the distance events. They had really strong men and women in distance. The sprinters lacked a little. They had some good names there, but it wasn't. Melissa Jefferson Woodham wasn't there. Noah wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like it was. But in the distance at 2 mile and a lot of the women's events at 1K, like they were pretty bad.
You get that's a big draw for them. It's really and it's good. And when they're on the track, it's electric. I mean, I was lucky enough to how do I say this? Put Big Bob's bracelet on loose enough so that it could slip onto my wrist later in the day. And I got down trackside and I was like this on the track while watching Nikki Hiltz run. It was
I
awesome.
truly wonder if Big Bob walked over there without a bracelet and someone noticed him, do you think they would actually say no? Like, do you think they really would if Big Bob looked and they were like, you're letting Bob Andrews walk in. I will get him a bracelet somewhere. Like, no one would say no to Big Bob.
So here's a funny story. We went to the trials for it, right? So our boys 4x4 went and we ran well enough to qualify. And Clay actually ran that night in the 1600 or in the mile to qualify. It was the Melrose Trials. And like 20 meters into the race, he goes down and they didn't recall it. They didn't call it back.
That sucks.
Skinned like all up and down. I think what happened was the starter went off and then she just kind of walked off and they didn't pull it back. So he ended up, getting up and was well behind, and he tried to catch up in the first 2 laps, and then he did, and then the race was not as good as it could have been.
Yeah,
I think he ran like 4:25 with a fall, so the Tim Fulton, who's the meet director for Melrose, I was talking to them all. I wasn't there, Bob was there, and he's talking to them all, and I can hear him apologizing to Clay, like, that's a tough way. Like, we're really sorry that happened. And, and he's like, if there's anything that you can do, if there's anything we can do. And I said, yeah, an extra coach's pass. And he said, no, I'm sorry. We can only give you one.
So here's where you got to tell Bob. Tell Bob to get a coach's pass for a club for Gone Running, and then you get them. Finagle it.
So we didn't have any guy. Look, we run an honest game. I bought a standing room only ticket to watch my athletes. I do it again and again and again. It was the only race that Crew Brown's dad didn't watch him run. He's been at every single race. That's Crew's
awesome.
Forever, the QB is the best. He's a good man, and he loves his son and his daughter and his sons and daughter. And he's the first race he was never at was Millrose because he couldn't get a ticket. We tried and tried and tried, but they were sold out. It was like
That's tough.
I was looking on like StubHub for Millrose games tickets. Yeah, I should have gone to the Sears Ticketmaster.
Yeah, Sears would have-
So, were there any scalpers for Millrose?
I'm sure. I don't know. But that's the thing. So maybe you're right. Maybe a place where we could fit a few more bodies in there to watch our great sport would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys. U.S. Nationals have been in Oregon, it seems like, for the past 7 decades, right? So this year they're moving it to Icon Stadium or Icon. However you guys want to pronounce it.
Icon.
How do you guys think the Northeast will show out? I think it's going to be good. What do you guys think?
Here's the thing. My impression is it's a 5,000 seat stadium. That is so
Smart.
It's going to look good, and they'll have some standing room. So it's going to look good. They better, right? We better be able to fill 5K, and it better look good on TV. And I think that's going to be nice. I know one of our former guests, Aaron Spider Brown, was critical because it is so small. It is nice that it's the only outdoor track and field venue that's fit for pros,
which is sad.
That's not fit with not associated with the college. That's awesome. But I mean, to me, it's great.
But how about
I hope it gives inspiration for other places to build those venues.
How about the fact that New York has the U.S. indoor and outdoor nationals this year?
Deserved.
Pretty cool. I mean, it's close, but like to me, like
yeah, New York can fill the seats of just about anything. I think. I think that they can. There's enough people that love the sport in the area. There's enough international people that love the sport in the area. That's some of the draw. You get some of the Europeans that are now, the Euros and Africans even that live locally.
Think about it. But when are U.S. Nationals in July? Like any coach, take your cross country team or take your go there. Make it like a team bonding thing and just go watch people run fast. The U.S. Nationals are coming to our backyard. Go.
I think the big issue is it's only 5,000 seats, and a lot of that is going to be filled by people associated with a ton of athletes.
Corporate sponsors.
It's going to be corporate sponsors. It's going to be a lot of the athletes' entourages that are mandatory to be there, coaches and things like that. And as much as I would love for them to do a promotion like, hey, bring some of your team for free or something like that, they got to make money. This event has to make money, or USATF is going to be like, this is useless, right back to Oregon. So
it's already back at Oregon in 2027.
I know, but at least they need to make money here. Bottom line is this needs to show out. And as much as I would love for them to give out hey, New York, New Jersey coaches, bring your athletes.
But you know what's crazy though? So many people aren't even talking about that. The U.S. Nationals are next week or 2 weeks in Ocean Breeze, because we have so much going on that it's hard to get people to a go because we have meets and everything, But it's crazy. The U.S. Nationals are right there. You're going to have some of the best pros in the world running it in Ocean Breeze in 2 weeks.
Well, I think is the USATF should work it out with the high schools around the country where
you think USATF gives a crap about what
Nationals weekend? Nationals weekend
as Nationals
should be off, but Nationals weekend should be
it's like the 20. It's the end of February.
All right, yeah,
I think.
But they should work it out with the high schools where Nationals weekend is off. It's a mandatory off day for track and field.
Yeah, but that's
people have to
go. Happen.
Yeah, I know it won't happen, but all right. Anything else, Coach?
No, I'm good, man. You guys are the best. Thanks for having me on again. And thanks thanks for all the support. You guys are always shouting me out and talking about things that we're doing over in Manalapan, and it's just you guys do an awesome job. And Hyatt, you keep it up over there, all right, with your half a track. We managed not to get Hyatt fired this year. I went easy.
Not this time.
Yeah, because
I don't know how Hyatt hasn't been fired with some of my crap already, so I'm happy they don't watch.
I was gonna talk about how Manasquan did me dirty, but
look at Dave is sweating. Dave is sweating now. We gotta end the show. We gotta
and look, like Michael Jordan said, and I took that personally.
Dave is not saying a word. Dave, as your attorney, I will tell you to not say anything.
All right, I'll put it in the book. I'll put it in the book. When the book comes out, you can come back and have me on.
So everyone, we appreciate you for watching. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's coaches like Coach Prendergast and a lot of others that have made this show even possible to continue to get to 179 episodes.
That's great.
Without Coach Prendergast and other people like Coach Will, Coach Nalvin, Geiger, Griff, we mentioned. I forget the amazing New Jersey coaches that started this.
Tefelsky.
Tefelsky, McCafferty,
Let's keep going. Let's go.
McCafferty.
Danny Rapp.
Danny
Danny
Rapp was on the show.
Yeah,
Coach
what
Briggs.
else we have?
Coach Briggs was on the
Briggs.
show.
Briggs is
Coach
the best.
Baker.
Coach Baker. we without that
There's
group,
so many we're forgetting.
Look,
Coach
those are
Whittle,
all-
Noel.
No,
Noel.
Noel.
Yeah, Noel
Well,
was on the
messaged
show.
me earlier to
Sean.
congratulate me
Yeah.
on the sectionals. Like she's
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah,
I
so it's
messaged
like
her
without
yesterday.
just a shout out to all the and we've had other coaches from other states and stuff on now and things, and
College.
we've expanded, but just the New Jersey core. Without you guys, we're not a show.
Just a short conference.
Just a short conference. We're not a show. So
And there's
Coach,
more that
thank
I would love
you.
to have on because there's so many
Yeah.
great coaches.
Think about that. Like I said
Just
earlier,
remember.
like if no matter where you live, like wherever you're zoned for, like if you want to be a good, like
Yep.
like there's a good opportunity to be coached by someone really, really good. Like we didn't even mention McClune. He's
Yeah,
not coaching indoor right now, but when I see McClune and
Fairhaven
Keown,
girls
to me,
are
those dudes are awesome.
RFH girls are a juggernaut still.
Yes,
I mean,
they
they
are.
are just a great program.
So again, thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening wherever you're watching from. X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. And to Coach McCafferty, who listens to this, he will be hearing this when it's uploaded. I apologize for uploading a batch of 6 again because I'm terrible at getting it onto the audio form. Oh, I'm awful, Coach. So don't I had to edit it, put it on, do a little thing. I'm the worst. I've been so behind lately, but we appreciate it all. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll be back next week. Go find us at Talking in Ovals everywhere. So long, y'all.